Great to have you here. The details now. 9 men from Edrapota, one of the fishing communities on the banks of the Lake Volta, are in the custody of police for allegedly using children for fishing and hazardous work on the Volta Lake. In an interview with JoyNews, Deputy Public Relations Officer of the Eastern Region Police, Francis Gomado, stated their undercover investigations revealed there were 11 suspects and 24 suspected trafficked children. He says some of the boat owners got information about the rescue mission, hence they sent the children to different locations before the arrival of security personnel. 9 suspects, however, were identified and arrested for interrogation.
We sent undercover detectives to go actually unravel the circumstances, and they went and brought a feedback with pictorial evidence to that effect. Based on the intelligence we have gathered on the ground, the operational ground, sought to suggest that they whisked the children away. But the suspects that we have in our custody now, there are 9. The fact is, pictorially and based on the evidence of the ground, they were the people who were keeping those trafficked children. Those people who are keeping them are not their biological parents. Their parents took money from them, and they are to go and work for their masters to recoup those monies. Definitely, it's under forced labor.
Now, before we speak to my colleague Maxwell Agbaba, who is with the police on this mission, let's give you an idea of the situation on the Volta Lake from JoyNews' Hotline documentary. It was produced 2 years ago by our investigative reporter, Kweti Nate. It was dubbed Slaves on the Volta.
Many Ghanaian children are trafficked to work in the fishing industry, carrying out hazardous tasks. Child labor and child trafficking are very common in Ghana's fishing industry. Each year, the International Organization for Migration, IOM, reports numerous deaths of children who have been trafficked to perform hazardous labor in the Volta Lake. As Hotline moves through these fishing communities, we discover many more people who have survived the painful experience of being child slaves on the Volta. Former PTA chairman of Ayetepa JHS, John Obodai, was also trafficked to work on the Volta Lake when he was 8 years old. He is still haunted by his days on the lake, especially his close shave with death.
We do catch nets and ropes, and it may hook under, maybe far about 12 feet and over, 24, 25 and over. But they'll force you to go down there to remove the net, and many people died in that event.
I have come to the Volta Lake. It's the biggest man-made lake in Africa. I see a number of little boys either sitting or standing in the canoes, sitting on the lake. Their jobs are to dive to untangle nets, scoop water from the canoes, or help to drag nets. Many of them are hungry and malnourished. They have already spent hours on the lake. The marks on the skins of some of them are a reflection of the dangers they fought in untangling nets in the water. The hope of a better life for each of these children keeps fading by the day. It's worrying when you consider the fact that Ghana was the first country in the world to ratify the Convention on Rights of the Child. Today, the country still faces severe problems with child trafficking. The reason these parents give for selling their children is to help alleviate family poverty.
So that's an excerpt of a documentary my colleague produced on children who were trafficked and being used to work on the lake. Now, it followed a release of a child trafficked in 2017. My colleague Maxwell Agbaba is part of a team of journalists who are with the Anti-Human Trafficking Unit of the Ghana Police Service, involved in operation codenamed Ablode. Maxwell, kindly tell us how security personnel conducted this particular operation.
Well, Bennett, the personnel moved into the community knowing who they were going after. They all had copies of a booklet which had images of the suspected trafficked children and the traffickers, that's the boat owners who have been allegedly using the children for fishing and hazardous work. Apparently, the information about the Swoop rescue mission, I should call it, leaked. Hence, some of the suspects allegedly sent the children to other communities and villages. Some of them also decided to hide them from the team. According to police, what made it obvious was that there were no children within that age range in the community. You know, before the team moved into the community, they had done some undercover investigation. They had sent some detectives into the community to observe what has been going on for some time. So they know the age range of the children that the suspected trafficked children. They range between the ages of 5 to 13 years. So they moved in to rescue the suspected children. But surprisingly, when we got to the community, we did not meet any child who fall within this category. The only people we met were babies, were toddlers, were men, and then women. We didn't meet anyone who falls, within that particular age range. Not even the biological children of the community people within that category were actually seen. Yeah, that is.
There are allegations by the MP of the area that some gunshots were fired by the police and that forced women and children into the bush. Anything you have in response to that?
Well, from what I observed together with a team of journalists who visited the island community, there was no gunshot. And there was consistent admonition from the police hierarchy for the security personnel not to even apply force. So there were even suggestions from some of the community people that they should, break into rooms so that they force the people to produce the children. But they said no, they cannot, do that. So really, they didn't apply force. Even something I would describe as minimal force. From my perspective, as a journalist and from the other journalists who were present there, not even minimal force was used, not to talk about, gunshots. So for a lot of the people who were on the ground during the operation, it came as a shock to them that there were reports that there were gunshots in the area when the team visited. Another information we picked up and from the briefing that we had from some policemen on the ground who had intelligence was that there were four boats, and then one speedboat went into the community. And the four boats actually went together. What it is that if you're standing on the community, on the banks of the Lake Volta, you can actually see from a very far distance when, a boat is approaching. So we understand that days prior to the rescue mission, some of the community people got hints of the information. There was an information, they got wind of it. And then after seeing the boats coming, they knew that, something was definitely going to happen because it's strange for them to see four boats, coming to their island around that particular time. So a lot of them, took cover and then went into hiding.
Marcel, I understand that you've got the police PRO with you. There are some other allegations by this MP I talk about. Does he want to respond to them?
Sure. So I have with me here Francis Kumadu, the Deputy Public Relations Officer of the Eastern Region Police. So I'm sure you've heard of the allegations, coming from the Member of Parliament for Afram that gunshots were fired in the area where Operation Bloody happened. Yeah. What is your response to that allegation?
Okay, I really never like to say much. I'm happy I'm part of the operation team myself as a deputy PRO for the region. And some of you media guys were there, and other independent-minded people were equally there. And they can attest to the fact that not even a slap, not even the body touch, not to talk about shooting of guns and other stuff. It was a very peaceful operation that we embarked on with the clear intention of rescuing these suspected trafficked children from that bondage. So we intended not to harm anybody, not to use even a minimum force personally, and you all saw it. You understand? You all saw it. The suspect that we have in our custody now, if they are interrogated today, anywhere, anytime, any day, they can attest to the fact that we did not even touch them with our finger. So the allegation is unfounded, baseless, and it's without merit. And I want to advise the public to disregard it in totality.
Now,
Maxwell, don't go yet. I'll have you hold on. I'll pick a quick reaction to this response from the police because I've got the MP for Afram Plains North, Betty Crosby, with me here. Good morning, ma'am. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
Well, great. We've heard from the police. They say they did not fire any shots. The people they arrested will bear witness of that. I'm just wondering what your reaction is to this, because you brought out that allegation that they had fired some gunshots, forcing women and children into the bush.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I was going to tell us the story. Indeed, I personally was not an eyewitness to the unfortunate incident that happened on the island on the 7th of April 2017. Now, the information I received from many of the residents, including the assembly members of the electoral area, was that on the third day, a number of armed men on about 4 people actually raided the community and started shooting into the air. And so that led to a number of the community members running into the bush. This is exactly the information, and I didn't get this account for only one person. A number of the community members gave me this background information. Again, as a result of people, when these people ran into the bush, 9 members of the community were arrested and taken into custody. Now, our concern is that, indeed, nobody knew where these people were coming from. The member of the district, that is the district representative of the assembly or the district was not in the zone. The district police command was not in the zone. Myself, a people in the district, and people didn't know the purpose of this. That very operation was taking place.
All right, but this is an operation. The police makes us understand that there were some undercover investigations. Does that satisfy you in regards to you not being aware of this?
Madam, it doesn't absolutely satisfy me. I will not get involved in the work of the police. However, as I speak to you this very morning, we have 7 of our children lost in the bush after more than 24 hours after the operation. We cannot find these children. And so if the state police officers were there to actually rescue and protect the children, have they done this community any good? Have they indeed done the community any good? Because now we are faced with children between the ages of 8, 12 years lost in the bush, and they cannot find their way back to the community. So what has the police got to say about that?
Madam Mensah, are you aware of this issue of trafficked children being used on the Volta Lake by some of the fishermen in that area? Are you aware that that happens?
You see, I personally come from the district, and I know some of the practices which over the years I have spoken very loudly about. I want the police to come clearly and define what modern slavery and trafficking is all about. Because that is the challenge we are currently having. Indeed, because of the lack of understanding of what slavery and trafficking is all about. When you go to the community and the person is sitting with his wife, with his cow, and then lets the person know you are trafficking, it's totally agreed. In 2017, I am pleased to report, and I'm sure that when the police take their record, they will find it very clear that when they went on a rescue mission, that was in April 14, I'm not too specific on the date, they rescued about 46 children. Now, where are they? After 1 year of investigation, the police came out and realized that none of those cases were cases of trafficking. And yet, they would have put these children under some sort of form, especially when they are doing this exercise, they go out there shooting around, they actually
Okay. I'll come back to you, but let me go back to the Deputy PRO of the Eastern Region Police, Maxwell.
Yes, Dennis.
So we heard from the MP for the area. She's actually alleging that we may have to redefine what modern slavery and trafficking is. She alleges that sometime in 2017, it's April, actually the same month, the police came on a similar mission, rescued about 40 children, and later realized they were not trafficked. Does the Deputy PRO have any response to this? How did they determine these children were actually trafficked children?
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. The fact is, we have concrete evidence to that effect. We are not speaking only as a police institution. We have engaged other stakeholders in this fight. And they can all attest to the fact. There was undercover operation before the actual operation. So those children who were trafficked, we have pictorial evidence of them and their foster fathers as well. You understand? And as we speak, I can tell you authority that we have rescued 15 of them. And the circumstances under which we rescued them, if I tell you, you'll be surprised. But for the 16.
16. This 16, what is the age range there?
It's from 5 to 13 years.
5 to 13?
Yes, and the circumstances under which we rescue them, if I tell you, you'll be surprised. But for the sake of the operation, we are not done yet, and I cannot put that one on air. But the fact is that these children were actually trafficked to the police.
Was there any incident in April 2017 where the police in the Eastern Region rescued some 40 children and later realized they were actually not trafficked, but they were working with their parents, as the MP says?
That is factually incorrect.
Did you say partially or factually?
Factually incorrect.
Okay.
Factually incorrect. We've been doing this for a long time. We've been achieving results, and we'll continue to do it.
Okay. And I'm sure the MP for the area would want to speak to this again, ma'am. The police has responded. He says this is factually incorrect. This April 2017 rescue mission.
That's all the 40.
Because, you know...
Okay. He other side
of the situation, you see, Madam, I have personally been involved in most of these cases.
Okay.
And when the police officer says factual, what does he mean by factual?
And I'm saying that he was just responding to that. He was just responding to that.
When these children are rescued, where do they even keep them? They don't even have any place to keep them. There are a lot of challenges when it comes to this issue.
Okay.
I feel that in this modern time, in the 21st century, this is a subject matter that should be dealt with. The police talk about stakeholders. I am a stakeholder. The assembly member is a stakeholder. The DC is a stakeholder. So which stakeholders is he referring to? If none of these persons are involved, if none of these persons are even aware of their operations, then what which stakeholders is he referring to? Again, if you think that this information is factually incorrect, I want you to go back to the police anti-human trafficking unit in the police headquarters and verify this very information.
All right.
Where the children were kept at the city of Hope, those orphanages, and find out exactly whether this information I have put there is incorrect.
All right.
All that I'm saying is that the fact that you meet somebody of a different tribe or from a different community being traveling to another community doesn't necessarily make the child a trafficked child.
All right.
Personally, I am a person from Cape Coast, but here I was born in Donko to be exact, and I'm the member of parliament for Afram. It doesn't mean I was trafficked to Afram or whatever.
Indeed.
What I feel is that if we are really concerned of the well-being of these children, then we all need to sit down and diagnose the right and appropriate way of solving whatever problem we have identified. But on this occasion, I insist that on the Volta Lake, there are no issues of, check the ILO definition of child slavery. In 2013, a clearly and stated that Ghana currently is not practicing any form of child slavery. That's the 2013 report from ILO. You can consult it. No other date, no other statistics since 2013 has been able to produce any such information. So what is the officer talking about? I think that I am not here to challenge the Ghana police. Their duty and their responsibility is to protect property and their human life. However, here we are in this very situation where we cannot find 7 of our children. But I have to say the fact that you have come on your airways to give us a list. So right now from here, I will be heading towards their office to start the conversation. But at least I will let the parents be rest assured that if indeed these 7 children that we cannot find are in their custody.
Madam Mensah, let me just find out from you quickly. Earlier you said that you wanted us to, or you wanted the police to define modern slavery and what trafficking is all about. I'm just wondering, if the police, for example, sees a child who is at a level that they should be in school working on the lake, won't that need rescuing because that child is being denied some education?
Yes, let me quickly get come in. You know, considering our cultural and social settings, here we are, a lot of us go through apprenticeship through training from our parents or our foster family members. Now, this is around the time when schools are on vacation. Let's get it straight. Students are on vacation, they are at home. And so when a father or mother decides to take their child or his child to the market, that constitutes trafficking. It doesn't. So we need to really redefine what is really happening. When you go to Europe, when you go to the Western world, a father takes his child to the factory, does that constitute trafficking? It doesn't. So what we are doing is that, look at stakeholders. When I did a statement on the floor of Parliament, before Parliament wrote for the recent, the Right Honourable Speaker insisted that these are issues that are very sensitive. And so he's expecting all stakeholders to come on board and see how best we can help these very vulnerable people in our community. Again, my dear, these communities that the police took, I heard him say that he was very happy to be part of the operation. When he went there and saw the lives that the people live, he needs a school structure there, that these children should be going to school. I think that as police that are interested in the well-being of the people, they should come out with a report telling the Ministry of Gender, Ministry of Education, that certain communities are living beyond the poverty line. And so therefore, these communities should be considered when it comes to developmental agenda. This is how we can start by protecting the well-being of our children, not by rescuing them in a ramble style where we cause trauma into this children's life. I think we haven't done anything.
Be clear here, the residents told you that these children are theirs, their own children, the missing children you talk about.
You see, the setup is such that some of them are their real children, some of them are extended families.
Okay.
And
that's all I wanted to know, ma'am. Thank you very much. We have to end it here. Thank you so much for your time. Betty Crosby Mensah is MP for Afram Plains. We will definitely be speaking to the police for more on this. My colleague Maxwell Agbagba is with them, especially on these children that the MP claims are missing. And also we'll be getting a lot more. It appears the police officer was trying to give some more clarity on this April 2017 reference that the MP makes, and he was trying to say that not all 46 of them. We will try and iron the issues out and bring you more in subsequent bulletins. But as it is now, the police is on an operation and is dubbed a bloody, rescuing children who are being trafficked. Let's move on to another trending issue, if you may. Until 3 weeks ago, you could take as many photos on the beautiful, iconic Adome Bridge at Atimpoku in the Eastern region without paying a thing. But that is now a thing of the past because the Oswojaman District Assembly has classified the bridge as a tourist site. Commuters and revelers would now be charged a fee for taking photos, even selfies. There's more in this report.
Have valued the use of the iconic Adome Bridge at Atimpoku in the Eastern region, perhaps because taking photos and videos on or close to it was free.
Well, that has changed because the 62-year-old edifice, which was only reopened in December 2015 after renovation works, has now been classified as a tourism site. The rehabilitation work was at a cost of 12.9 million euros with funds secured from the Bank of Austria. The Sujaman District Assembly says commuters and revelers who take photos, including selfies on the bridge, will be levied. Johannes Nate Guru did not know and was shocked when he was compelled to pay 4 cedis on Good Friday.
Two guys approached us and they said they are from the revenue office, internal revenue office or whatever it is, from the district assembly, and they are taking money. And I asked them money for what? And they said money for, they asked me first what I was coming to do, and I said, oh, I want to take some pictures, already some video shot. And they said now we are paying, they are paying. So if you want to take pictures on the bridge, you will pay 2 cedis per person. So they have their receipt book and everything. So there we argued for a while, and I paid 4 cedis because I went there with 2 cars. So I pay for them.
Why has it become necessary to charge these fees? Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Tourism Development Company, Kwejo Entry, has been explaining on Showbiz A to Z on Joy FM.
The Adome Bridge is a property of the Ghana Highway Authority. Recently, you all recall there was some work done on it. It required that the bridge was closed. Some money had to go into putting it back up. And once that was done, apparently there are some outstanding bills that were incurred by the Assembly. And so the Assembly, working with the Ghana Highway Authority, decided that as part of recruiting part of the cost, they would want to charge patrons who want to take photographs or have, once it's become a designated tourist site, the same way you would want to take pictures at the Eiffel Tower and pay for, or the London Bridge for that matter. I guess that's the spirit.
Well, the Tourism Development Company says it has identified and earmarked some other structures in and around the bridge, which will soon be developed.
There's a general plan by us in the authority or the industry to expand some facilities we have identified there and to list it fully as a tourist attraction.
Some entertainment watchers are, however, critical of the move. Well, now you know, all you selfie lovers. One at the iconic Adome Bridge from now will cost you some money.
Finally got to the other side of the bridge. So this is the only bridge that you can use to cross the lake from the other side to this side. So in case you're traveling to Volta or Picky and you're using the Akosombo road, this is the only bridge that you can use.
We have contacted the DCE for more on this. I'm sure there are a lot of questions lingering on your minds. We do also have a lot of questions, and the DCE agreed to speak to us. We're still trying to reach him for some further, clarity on this particular one.
They reopened in December 2015.
Well, we understand we are unable to reach him at the moment. We will bring you that interview with him when he answers our calls. But some of the questions have to do with tolls, because tolls are already taken on that bridge. What's the difference between the tolls that are taken when you enter and exit the bridge and these levies that are charged for taking a photo or a selfie? We will get you answers.